Have you ever wondered what keeps the cell's contents safe inside, yet allows necessary materials to move in and out? Well, it's the plasma membrane. This thin yet powerful layer plays a crucial role in cell survival. Today, we're going to explore the structure and function of the plasma membrane. By the end of this video, you'll understand how it protects and controls what enters and leaves the cell. What is the plasma membrane? The plasma membrane, also known as the cell membrane, is one of the most important structures in a cell. It's like a gatekeeper, controlling what enters and exits, while also keeping the interior of the cell stable. But what exactly makes up this barrier, and how does it function so effectively? Let's break it down. The plasma membrane is the outer boundary of the cell. It surrounds the entire cell, keeping everything contained inside. It's crucial because it ensures that the cell can communicate with its environment, receive signals, and maintain a proper internal environment, which is essential for survival. It's a very thin semi-permeable layer made of lipids and proteins. Despite being thin, the plasma membrane structure is incredibly complex, designed to handle all sorts of essential tasks. At first glance, the plasma membrane might seem like just a thin, fragile barrier surrounding the cell, but in reality, it's so much more. It's a highly dynamic and complex structure that ensures the cell remains a functional unit. Think of it as the gatekeeper of the cell. It protects, communicates, and interacts with its environment while maintaining the perfect balance of materials inside. So, how does it achieve all this? To understand, we need to dive into its structure first. 1. The structure of the plasma membrane. Let's start by breaking it down. The plasma membrane is composed of a phospholipid bilayer, a double layer of molecules called phospholipids. What makes these molecules special is their dual nature. The hydrophilic or water-loving heads face outward, while the hydrophobic or water-fearing tails face inward. This arrangement creates a selective barrier that keeps the cell's interior safe from the outside environment. But the plasma membrane isn't just a simple lipid layer. Floating within this bilayer are proteins that serve a variety of roles. Some of these proteins act as channels, allowing specific molecules to pass through. Others function as receptors, detecting signals from the outside and triggering responses inside the cell. Imagine them as the traffic controllers of the cell's border, making sure everything flows smoothly. Additionally, carbohydrates are attached to some proteins and lipids, forming glycoproteins and glycolipids. These carbohydrate chains play a vital role in cell-to-cell communication and recognition. And let's not forget cholesterol. This molecule is interspersed within the bilayer, helping to stabilize the membrane. Without cholesterol, the membrane would either become too rigid or too fluid, depending on the temperature. Now that we've laid the foundation of its structure, let's move on to what makes the plasma membrane so extraordinary. Its functions. 2. The functions of the plasma membrane. Alright, now that we know how the plasma membrane is built, let's talk about what it actually does. Imagine it as a multitasking expert, seamlessly managing multiple roles to keep the cell running like clockwork. Selective permeability. One of the most important functions of the plasma membrane is its ability to be selectively permeable. This means it allows certain substances to pass through while keeping others out. For example, small non-polar molecules like oxygen and carbon dioxide can easily diffuse across the membrane, but larger or charged molecules like glucose or ions need help from specific proteins. This selective permeability ensures the cell maintains its internal balance or homeostasis. Transport of molecules. Speaking of transport, there are two main ways substances move across the membrane. These are passive transport and active transport. The first is passive transport, which doesn't require energy. Molecules simply move from an area of higher concentration to one of lower concentration, like a ball rolling downhill. Then there's active transport, which does require energy. Think of it as pushing the ball uphill. For example, the sodium potassium pump actively moves sodium ions out of the cell and potassium ions in, maintaining the cell's electrical balance. Communication and signal transduction. The plasma membrane is also a vital communicator. Its receptor proteins act like antennas, picking up signals from the environment. These signals could be anything from hormones to neurotransmitters. When a signal binds to its receptor, it sets off a cascade of events inside the cell, a process called signal transduction. This helps the cell respond to changes in its environment, like adapting to stress or repairing damage. Cell recognition. Here's something fascinating. The plasma membrane helps the immune system recognize your body's own cells and differentiate them from invaders like bacteria or viruses. The carbohydrate chains on the surface of the plasma membrane act like ID tags, allowing cells to identify each other. Structural support. Finally, the plasma membrane isn't just about protection and communication, it also provides structural support. It anchors the cytoskeleton, the cell's internal framework, helping maintain the cell's shape. It also helps cells connect to one another to form tissues, ensuring they work together seamlessly. Pretty incredible, right? But this isn't just a passive structure, it's constantly at work. Let's see the plasma membrane in action. 3. The plasma membrane in action. Let me paint you a picture of the plasma membrane at work. Imagine the cell as a factory. Sometimes it needs to bring in raw materials or send out finished products. This is where processes like endocytosis and excytosis come into play. Now you might be thinking, what is endocytosis? During endocytosis, the plasma membrane engulfs a substance from the outside, forming a vesicle to bring it into the cell. It's like a delivery truck unloading goods into the factory. On the other hand, excytosis is the opposite. Vesicles fuse with the membrane to release their contents outside the cell. This is how nerve cells release neurotransmitters to communicate with one another. Another fascinating aspect of the plasma membrane is its role in maintaining the membrane potential, the electrical difference between the inside and outside of the cell. This electrical charge is crucial for nerve cells to transmit signals and for muscle cells to contract. It's like the electricity that powers a city. Now here's a question for you. What is the structure that surrounds and protects the cell? Only a genius can answer in the comments below.